Yup, you read correctly. Stop lying to yourself. There are three little delusions I see looming in the InZoi crowd. First and foremost, you won't stop playing The Sims, and you don't have to. Second, InZoi will not be a full feature release on early access with the polish you may hope for, and that's okay. Last but not least, should you order a side of loaded potatoes with your cooked rig? If you'd like an insight into the type of OP tech the devs are using to build this monster of a game, stick around till the end. Picture this. It's 2003, and I'm a scrawny middle schooler tagging along with my stepmom to Walmart. She grabs The Sims Bustin' Out off the shelf, probably thinking it's some cute little house building game. She had no clue what she was unleashing. Late night chaos, throwing raucous parties that'd wake the neighbors, picking fights with townies to see who'd swing first, and taking on the woohoo challenge in every bed I could find. Moving out of mom's rundown shack, crashing with Malcolm, that sleazy millionaire, and finally watching my Sim family soar off in that helicopter. It was messy, wild, and unforgettable. That's where my love for life Sims kicked off. With InZoi on the horizon, I've been hyping it up in my head. Maybe you have too. So let's strip away the delusions and see what's real, because getting this wrong could disappoint us. First up, let's debunk this. InZoi isn't here to dethrone The Sims. I've spent years with The Sims, and it's got a grip on me, partly because of how much I've invested in it. Let's break it down. As of March 7th, 2025, The Sims 4 has 16 expansion packs at $39.99 each. That's $639.84. Then 12 game packs at $19.99, totaling $239.88. Add 19 stuff packs at $9.99 for $189.81, and 31 kits at $4.99, hitting $154.69. Grand total, $1,224.22 USD. That's not just money, it's a legacy of quirky chaos, from vampire lairs to alien babies. InZoi isn't chasing that vibe. InZoi Studios cooking up something else. Smart Zois with AI that'll ditch work on a whim, hyper-real visuals, and freedom to reshape entire cities. It's light on the supernatural stuff The Sims owns, like werewolves or spellcasters. Ghosts tied to karma are teased, but not yet. Even Chun, InZoi's director, knows this. He's got deep respect for The Sims legend, having wrestled firsthand with crafting a rival. So, no need to pick sides. They're different beasts. Next is early access. I've caught myself dreaming it's a polished gem when it lands on March 28th, 2025. The truth is, it's not. It's a rough draft, a chance for InZoi Studio to test the waters and tweak the recipe. You'll get 3 cities, like Bliss Bay with its Santa Monica glow, plus jobs and a build mode that lets you micromanage every lamppost. But it's no finished masterpiece. Think bugs, missing polish, and a slow rollout of features, paranormal stuff included. Kyun's team is banking on us to help shape it, just like Baldur's Gate 3 fans did. If you expect day one perfection, you're setting yourself up for a letdown. Me, I'm ready for the ride, flaws and all. Now, the hardware talk. I don't have some dusty relic, I'm good, but let's look at what InZoi demands. It's built on Unreal Engine 5, flexing Nanite for insane environmental detail, lumen for lighting that shifts like real life, and Metahuman for characters so lifelike you'll swear they're about to blink. Metahuman is a game changer. Hyper-detailed faces with real-time animations, every pore and expression rendered on the fly. But that tech hits your rig hard. It's a GPU and CPU grind, processing those lifelike Zois alongside Nanite's dense geometry and Lumen's dynamic shadows. The minimum specs are Ryzen 5 36000, RTX 2060, and 12 gigabytes of RAM. Recommended? Ryzen 7 5800X, RTX 3070, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Influencers like a cotton sock got a studio sent rig, and New World's 4090 Beast crushed it, 60 FPS, max settings. Most of us? Not there. Here's the deal. Don't kid yourself thinking minimum specs will cut it long term. Sure, it'll run, but choppy frames and muddy visuals, especially with Metahumans' demands, might sour the experience. It's avoidable without breaking the bank. A solid CPU like a Ryzen 5 5600X, 150-ish, keeps the AI humming. Old chips lag on smart Zois decisions. An RTX 3060 or 4060, $300 to $400, tackles Metahumans' rendering load and rasterization strain. Without it, you're stuck with low-res mush. Bump RAM to 32 gigabytes, 80, so cities and characters load smoothly, not stuttery. Skip those, and you're risking a vibe that'll make you ditch InZoi before it shines. No one wants their Zoi's life story told in slideshow mode, right? So here's the bottom line. InZoi isn't stealing the Sims crown. It's carving its own path. Early access means raw potential, not instant glory. And your rig? Don't skimp, or you'll miss the magic. I've overhyped this in my head before, picturing flawless Zois strutting day one. Looking at it straight, though, keeps the disappointment at bay. The Sims 4 at $1,224.22 is a titan. InZoi's a fresh contender with room to grow. What's your take? Hyped? Worried about specs? Let me know below. I'm curious. Subscribe for more straight talk, and I'll catch you next time.
So lumen is our new global illumination technology. It allows lighting to bounce all the way around a scene. So you get very realistic interactions, and it's not a baking process. It's completely live. So you can move geometry, open a wall, open a window, and you get live results in front of you that look just like they would do to a camera.
it really unleashes the power of bounce light. And bounce light to photography and cinematography is the holy grail. So when we turn on lumen and we can have bounce light with no bake lighting at all, with real-time response to lights moving, it frees us up to get in there and really look at how the shot's composed, how the lighting's helping tell the story, so we can spend more time moving things around and not worrying about locking to a certain setup and then pretending that we have the light there.
The type of games that would have previously been considered, or game designs that had been modified because, oh, well, you have to make the compromise between either having a dynamic world that doesn't look very good, or to have a static world that is lit really nice. You can now have a dynamic world that just changes, reacts to the player, all of it looking just as nice. Artists have been waiting for dynamic GI and begging for it for a long time. I think they are going to be ecstatic to finally get what they've been asking for so long, and to get it in a way that isn't nearly as compromised as what anyone might have seen before.
You create the narrative.
I am Metahuman.
Initial spark for the Metahuman idea was just the fascination with digital characters in CG. To us, digital humans are something magical even, and infinitely complicated. Metahuman Creator is a cloud stream application that lets anybody create high-fidelity digital characters. What used to take months now takes minutes, and people don't even have to think about all the technical steps that they normally would need to take.
We're going after 3 really hard problems, and we're not compromising on any of those. Outright quality that you'd expect in a AAA game for a digital human. Making sure that anyone can use this tool, that anyone can create a character in minutes or hours that used to take weeks and months. And all of that has to work at that fidelity with rigged and ready to animate in-engine in real time.
This topic, previously reserved only for teams with large budgets and with large amount of time, now is accessible to everybody, and even to people outside of the industry.
It's like really a very robust but very simple to use system, and it's really a joy when you just sit there in front of the tool and you can just like focus yourself on the sheer creativity and get excited about exploring.
The Metahuman Creator uses a library of real scans of people. So when you move the handles around to create a character, you're mixing together these different parts of real people to create something that's still really believable and lifelike and has personality. But it's not just creating the shape of the face, you can also choose wrinkles applied to the face to make a character look older. But we're not just applying this as a texture onto the face, we also subtly change the geometry of the face at the same time to make sure those wrinkles really match with the shape of the face and just bring the whole thing together into a realistic and believable character.
One of the really cool features that you get out of the box with the Metahuman Creator is that you're essentially focused on creating the high quality character, but at the same time you get multiple levels of details.
We take the hugely detailed strand-based hair and turn that into carved-based groom and then into a simple helmet. We take the geometry of the face and make simplified versions of that. We also simplify the materials so that you can use these characters in a crowd or on a range of different devices. It's also creating a new rig for the character, which controls how they move, how they emote, and that really brings life to the character.
And then there's this other moment when you hit play and it comes to life. And that's really the benefit of being real-time and always generating this fully rigged version of the face, is you hit play and it moves, it's alive.
And this person who's come from your imagination that doesn't exist in real life is suddenly there looking at you, smiling at you. That is kind of magical.
When you look at Metahuman Creator or things we're doing with Quixel Mega Scans, things that are coming in Unreal 5, I think the type of content we're going to see from very small teams and individuals is going to be a massive shift.
Metahuman can be your endpoint. It can be the character that goes into your game. But it can also be your starting point where you start creating your own layers on top of what Metahuman provides. I feel that we've accomplished something truly remarkable here by creating these digital characters with which you can empathize. Our whole team spent years designing this database and these rigs, and we're so excited to give this back to the community around the world.
So what does Nanite mean for artists? It means freedom. It means freedom of choice in terms of the assets that you can use. Now you don't have to worry about generating normal maps or low resolution proxies. You can load in full movie quality assets straight into the engine and be able to use them in your game.
So one thing that Nanite opened up to us was the ability to bring in really high quality assets from asset libraries. Like in this case, we used a lot of Quixel assets.
The Quixel Megascans is the world's largest scan library, and it consists of scans from all over the planet. And being able to use them in all their high poly and high res glory in real time was absolutely fantastic.
We did not have to customize any of those. Like if you kind of look behind the scenes of some of the content we have, it's super kit bashed. There's a ton of assets just kind of all slammed together. It's literally just drag it in and it's great.
Some of these assets we're talking tens of millions of triangles for an individual asset. We're talking about entire scenes made up of billions and billions of triangles. The artist brought in the assets and were able to compose the scene the way it made the most sense for them to do it. They were able to just make the art in whatever way made the most sense to them, import it, and then let the engine handle the details.
What are you guarding?
Previously, artists would start from a really high resolution source asset and bake it down to a low poly model and generate a normal map out of this. So artists don't have to do this step anymore. It's just automatically done by Nanite.
And so what Nanite technology unlocks is to really liberate the artists so that they can deliver on their vision.
Nanite is like magic to me. Being able to bring these highly detailed models into Unreal without compromise is just game-changing.